Yo, good morning, everybody, man. How's everybody doing today, bro? Welcome back to Helping Humanity Evolve, y'all. My name is Jose. How's everybody doing today, man? I hope everybody's happy and healthy. Hope you guys are meditating and connecting the stars, bro. You know, we love you, we miss you, we want you to come home. You know what I'm saying? Quick shout out, man. Shout out to my subscribers. I love y'all, man. Shout out to Source. I love you guys. You hear me? Shout out to my ancestors. Shout out to my archangels, my angel guys, my demon guys, and my spirit guys. I love y'all, bro. Shout out to the universe. Shout out to the Galactic Federation. Shout out to be everything. I fucking love y'all, bro. So listen, uh, it's Monday, May 12th, y'all. It's 4:34 a.m. Central. Right. What a weekend. What a weekend, bro. Right? I had a wild weekend, bro. Holy fuck, I had a wild weekend, bro. So, alright, specifics, right? I went on a journey Saturday. I went on two journeys this weekend, right? One was a psychedelic journey and one was a real life journey. So Saturday, I was with the aliens and the angels, bro. I was with the aliens and the angels, bro. Right? That shit was crazy, bro. So, I did get a lot of footage. I got a lot of footage, man. Y'all could watch the videos. Y'all could see, sources in the building, bro. Aliens is in the building. Angels is in the building. Everybody's here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta remember, these beings are invisible. You can't see them because you're vibrating too low. So the only way they can reveal themselves to you is through the television. This is the only way they have, bro. Now, if you guys, if you guys are informed and you know about the CIA and you know what the CIA used to do, then that they used to use psychedelics, right, in order to leave the body and spy on people. This is what they used to do, bro. So they're aware of this invisible forces. They're aware, that these beings exist, bro. Right? They also aware that they communicate with us through our television, right? They see a lot of people don't know that aliens communicate with you through the television, bro. So the CIA knew that, bro. They knew that, bro. Right? And they didn't think that anybody here would raise their vibration high enough to communicate with the aliens, right? But I was successful in doing so. Right, so I basically hang out with these niggas all the time, bro. Right, so go check it out, man. You know what I'm saying? Sunday we went on a hike. I went on a hike. I took my very first hike, bro. I never went on a hike before. It was my very first time going on a hike. I have a newfound respect for people that go on hikes because holy fuck, bro, how do you do it, bro? Right? That shit was insane, bro. Right? Like, nigga, there's no guardrails, there's no safety rails, there's no caution tape, there's nothing, bro. You just gotta walk on the edge of the cliffs, bro. Like, what the fuck? That shit was so scary, bro. Nigga. Right, there had to be like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, Jordan, I'm not walking over there, bro. No fucking way, bro. She's like, come on, we're almost there. I'm like, no, look at that. That shit is like 1,000 feet high, bro. I'm not going over there, bro. Right? I sat the fuck down, nigga. I didn't want to move, bro. Right? We sat there for like 30 minutes. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try, bro. And I was holding on to the rocks, right? And we got through it. And we made it. Look, we hiked about 3 hours into the mountain, 3.5 hours into the mountain, bro. So we went one direction for 3.5 hours straight, bro. And then finally we came to this waterfall. And it was like maybe 3 o'clock, 2, 3 o'clock when we got to the waterfall. And I was like, let's just chill right here, bro. Right? We ain't gotta go no further, bro. Let's chill right here. We already like we gotta hike back 3.5 hours, bro. So we ended up chilling by the waterfall. Jordan got wet, right? She wet her whole body and shit, right? I sat there, I rolled me a blunt, bro. We was drinking the water. I was soaking my feet in the water, right? It's all fresh water, bro. I did a few rituals while we was over there, bro. I reclaimed my land, right? I let Gaia know that I was here, right, and I'm reactivated, right? I'm reactivating everything, bro. So I did get some of it on video, not all of it. I got a few of them on video. I was trying to like teach. I was giving a few classes on how to do this shit. So I'm gonna drop that soon, right? Because I made a bunch of videos yesterday, bro. Right, I got my next rap video ready, right? I shot that bitch in the car on the way over there, right? And then I got several other videos I shot while we were hiking to show you guys, what was going on. So I need to stitch them together so I can give you like the beginning to the end, right, of the journey. So that's coming soon, bro. Right, that's coming soon. The video I just dropped is called Disclosure. Right, it's our version of Disclosure. Right, it's my version of Disclosure. Me and Trippy. Right, so Trippy put the video together, and I brought it to you. Right? I brought it to life, right? Right. So my spirit team was all over it. They all over that video, bro. They all over it. My spirit team is in there. My family's in there. The aliens are in there, bro. The angels are in there. Everybody's in there, bro. Go watch the video. It's like a 15-minute video, bro. It's actually longer. That video is actually 21 minutes, right? And then there's another video I made that's 2 hours and 47 minutes. But listen to me. This video is 2 hours and 47 minutes, and I don't remember making it, bro. I don't remember, bro. So, there's always that part of my journey where I black out, and I don't know what happened. So that, what's good about it is that this time I was on a trippy journey. So when it happened, I got it all recorded. I got the whole thing recorded, bro. And it's 2 hours and 47 minutes, bro. This shit is wild, bro. Like I don't remember recording this shit. But I had a beautiful journey. For the first time, I had an experience where I was able to control time, bro. Right? And that shit was the trippiest thing in the world, bro. Like once I realized I was playing with time, I was like, holy fuck, bro, I'm playing with time. Wow, bro. Let me pause the world. So I paused the world and I went outside, bro, right? I paused the whole world and I went outside, bro. And I was just walking around. And like it was total silence. Listen to me. Not a bird chirping in the sky, bro. Not a cricket. You didn't hear shit, bro. It's like the whole world was paused, bro. And I walked outside for like 30 minutes, bro. I was just walking around the backyard, bro. Wondering how the fuck am I doing this, bro? Right? It's not a peep coming from anywhere, bro. I'm listening to see if there's any cars going by, right? Do I hear any cars, any planes, anything in the skies, bro? Nothing, bro. For 30 minutes straight, nothing, bro. Until I came back in and I unpaused it. I can't explain it, bro. It was part of the journey, bro. That shit was insane, bro. Right? It took me a lot to remember that part of my journey because I told you I blacked out. So I was telling Jordan, like, Jordan, bro, there's a part where I blacked out and I don't remember what I did, bro. But I'm trying to remember. I don't want to watch no videos until I remember what the fuck I did, bro, because, I don't remember, bro. So it took me a couple of hours. But finally, I was like, yo, I was playing with time, bro. They try to take that memory away from me, bro. But I got it, right? I got it because I remember what I did, bro. I remember once a particular sound came on, I knew that was, that was the time, bro. And I did something. I don't know what it was. I did something that paused everything, bro. All right, everything. Bro. Everything paused, including the TV, bro. Right? Everything was on pause, bro. And I said, what the fuck? Everything paused. Let me go outside, bro. So I went outside, bro. All right. I went outside. I walked around. Jordan was nowhere to be found, bro. The cats was nowhere to be found. Nobody was anywhere, bro. I was by myself, bro, for 30 minutes straight, bro. Total silence, bro. Like if the world was really paused, bro. Right. So that was a trippy experience, bro. That was bugged the fuck out, right? But I do remember it, bro. Right. So we did that, right? I got disclosure video, right? And then I got a whole bunch of my music, right? And not my music, but the kind of music I listen to. So before I took my journey, I sat there and I downloaded probably about 50 or 60 songs, if not more. And I was like, I got my playlist. Jordan's like, you're going to make 70 songs? I said, hell no, bro. I just got enough, right? I got enough so that I could skip over something, right? Because I always do that. I always skip over something. Sometimes you download a song, you think you want to perform to it, and then when the time comes, you go, oh, I'm not ready to move for that shit, bro. But then you need one to fill that spot. So I give myself more than enough music, right? I always try to go about 70, 80 songs. And then I normally do about 40, right? And then I got 40 more for my next journey. So this is what I try to do so I don't run out of music. You know what I'm saying? So I got a bunch of stuff that I did by the Joker, right? I did some by the Joker, I did some by Tech Nine, I did some by Bone Thugs and Harmony. Bro, I did some beautiful music, bro. Right? I even did a few of my own, right? A few of my own. I performed to a few of my own songs, right? So I'm trying to prepare this playlist for a journey that I'm gonna take, right? It's gonna be a different kind of journey, right? I'm gonna wait till we get a bye week on Trippy videos, right? Because Trippy dropped another video yesterday. Wow, I was on the journey, bro. So I didn't know, right? Because I was on the journey. Now remember, this journey is brand new to me, bro. You know, this is disclosure to me, bro. And I'm hanging out with aliens and angels, bro. So I'm deep in this journey, bro. Right? And so, I don't know how long this went on for. But I went out, I came back, the video was on, right? I start dancing, and then I realized it's not the same video. I'm like, what the fuck? Where did this video come from, bro? I wasn't, I wasn't on this journey. So I switched it back to the one I was on, bro. Which is the disclosure video. So I went back to that video, right? I went about my journey. I got about 55 videos, right? So finally, listen to me. I drank my mushrooms about 11:30 in the morning yesterday, right? Listen to me. I drank 7 grams of mushrooms at 11:30 in the morning. I came back from my journey at 8:30 at night, bro. Listen to me, at 8:30 at night, bro. It's when I was like, holy fuck, I'm tired, bro. Like, I'm done, bro. I can't dance no more. I don't want to do nothing no more. I just want to go lay down, bro. And that's what I did, bro. But by the time I did, bro, it was almost 9 o'clock, right? So I was in here going ham, bro, for like 8 hours straight, bro. Right? And needless to say, I had a blast, bro. I wasn't here. Like, I was here, but I was not here, bro. Listen to me, I was not here, bro. I was in outer space, bro. I was on Mars, bro. Right? That was a beautiful journey. And then I remember yesterday morning that Jordan wanted to go hiking, bro. So I woke up, I'm feeling good right now. I was dancing for 8 hours straight, bro. So my legs are like rubber, bro. My legs are like rubber, bro. But here I go, right? Jordan, we going hiking, bro. Come on, let's go hiking, bro. I'm ready, bro. Right? So, I got everything ready to go hiking, bro. And we went hiking, bro. We broke out, right? It was like an hour drive. It was an hour drive to get to the mountain. And then another 3.5 hours to get up that bitch, bro. And we didn't even get all the way to the top, nigga. We stopped because we was, you know, nigga, y'all ever walked up a mountain before, bro? Y'all ever walked up a mountain before, bro? Nigga, that shit is crazy, bro. Right? It's okay when you at the bottom, right, working your way up, but once you get to the top and you start hitting those cliffs, bro, nigga, there's no guardrails, no safety rails, there's nothing, bro. You got about this much space to walk on, bro. You got this much space to walk on, literally, bro. Literally, bro. You got this much space to walk on, bro. You sitting there holding on to the wall, bro. Right, trying to shimmy across this bitch, bro. Right, that was like the scariest part of that fucking hike, bro. I was dumb, bro. Listen to me. When we got to that cliff, bro, there's a video I was shooting, right? And when I made it there, did I realize where I was at? Nigga, I pressed stop. I stopped recording, nigga. I sat down. I said, Jordan, I want to go home, bro. She was like, well, what happened? I was like, I want to go home. I don't want to walk past. I don't want to go over there. She was like, why? I was like, what you mean, why? Look at that shit, bro. Look how high we are, bro. One gust of wind, nigga, we gone, bro. Right? I was like, hell nah, bro. But whatever. She ended up leaving, right? She broke the fuck out. So she sent me across and left me, bro. So I had to build up the courage to follow her, bro, right? So I sat there for like 15 more minutes, bro, before I was like, all right, fuck it, bro. We're gonna have to hold on to the rocks. And I held on to the rocks, bro. And I shimmied across both of them, bro. Right, and then I found her, she was laying down on the other side waiting for me, bro. I was like, yo, you crazy, bro. This shit is wild, bro. And we kept going. And we ended up coming to another cliff, bro. But then we found this mine site. I want to say it was a mine site, bro. And they had this big hole in the ground, right? But there was no way to get in. There was a ladder going down this hole, but there was something, they welded some steel gates on top of it, bro. So I couldn't break the welds, bro. I didn't have no tools, bro. So there was no way for me to get down there. Now, what they called it, there's a stamp on the side that says '08 Colorado Project, right? Now, this shit goes deep in the ground, bro. But there was no way for me to get down there, bro. You understand? So I did get some video footage of it. Then we found there was like a little cabin on top of the hill, bro. So I climbed the hill, bro. I climbed that bitch and I went inside the cabin, bro. Right? There was like some generators in there, some shit, but they were all broken. Like that, there was nothing in their value, bro. So whatever, I crawled in there, I shot a video, I crawled back out, I climbed back down the little hill, right? That shit was steep as fuck, bro. I climbed back down, I got some video footage of it, right? And I kept it pushing, bro. But I did shoot a few videos, while we were hiking through. I did shoot quite a few videos. So that you guys, I kind of brought you guys on a journey with me, right? So maybe later on today, I'll stitch them together, and I'll release like maybe a 10-minute video of Yahweh's first hike, bro. Now, there's two things I want to get into today, right? The first one is I came across some information yesterday that I felt you guys should know. So I took a whole bunch of screenshots of this information so I could read it to you. Right? We're going to get into this first. And then we'll get into the message, from the stars, from the Galactic Federation. So these is like spiritual laws, right? These are spiritual laws. These is rituals that you should do to reclaim your flame. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to teach you guys, I'm going to talk to you guys, and we're going to get into this, right? I don't know how long I'm going to be here, bro. What time is it, bro? It's 4:50. I don't know. This live might be a little longer than usual, bro. Maybe, depending on how we feeling, right? But let's get into it. Time is running out for them, right? So the truth that was hidden, right, is the controllers know their time is limited, bro. You understand? So solar alignments, geomagnetic pulses, and ancestral awakenings are cracking the veils. You know what I'm saying? Vaults are opening. Hairs are returning. I'm one of them, bro. And ancient claims are being refiled under cosmic law, not corporate statute, bro. I'm going to repeat that for you guys, bro, so you can understand me, bro. Vaults are opening, hairs are returning, and ancient claims are being refiled under cosmic law, not corporate statute, bro. You know what that means, bro? This is why censorship is rising. AI is being accelerated, and DNA databases are exploding. They are racing against remembrance. They don't want you to remember. They're trying to do all this shit before you remember. You understand? They know you're remembering. They know we're remembering, bro. They're watching my channel, bro. Understand this, bro. They know that we're coming, bro. They know we're here, bro. You understand? So they're doing everything in their power to maintain their control, to maintain their domination over you. You understand that? So, suppression. They fear not revolution, but remembrance. Because once enough beings remember who they are, the matrix falls without a fight, bro. You understand that? Do y'all understand that, bro? I'm going to repeat it, okay? So they fear not revolution, but remembrance. Because once enough beings remember who they are, the matrix falls without a fight, bro. You know what that means? You could change the world without having to harm anyone. You don't have to harm anyone. You understand? You don't have to go fight nobody. You don't have to go to war. You don't have to worry about defending yourself. All you have to do is become yourself, bro. Remember who you are, bro. Be the best version of you. Begin to practice these things. I'm gonna teach you a whole bunch of shit right now, bro. So pay attention, because this is gonna be like a accelerated slam course, right? Like I'm gonna give you a shitload of information really fast, bro. So be ready for it, bro. Now, they don't own the land. They rent the illusion. You understand? So truth hidden, right? All land titles, deeds, and claims issued by governments are fraudulent leases. Do you understand me? I'm going to repeat this for the people in the back. Okay? All land titles, Deeds and claims issued by governments are fraudulent leases. Do you understand what those words mean? Land cannot be owned. It can only be stewarded by the living. You understand? The Vatican holds all land deeds under the Papal Bull, Unam Sanctam. Mortgages mean death pledges. Every home you buy in the system is a contract with death. You understand? Every home you buy in the system is a contract with death, bro. The suppression. Indigenous stewards were wiped out, and their flame lineages sealed the Vatican vaults. Land was redivided using fake maps, fake borders, and wars staged to justify the theft. Right? So I'm gonna reread that for you, bro. Indigenous stewards were wiped out. Their flame lineages sealed the Vatican vaults. Land was redivided using fake maps, fake borders, and wars staged to justify the theft. Do you understand that? Do you understand what happened to you? Because this is what happened to you, bro. Now, not all stars are stars. Truth hidden. Some stars are energy ships. Some stars are soul projection beacons. Some stars are ancient surveillance entities from other realms. Many twinkle because they oscillate between dimensions. Some are portals to ancestral homes, specifically Sirius, Vega, and Lyra. The doggone of Mali described Sirius B long before Western telescopes. Why? Because they remember the true stellar origin. Suppression. Modern astronomy rewrote a starlight as lifeless matter, but true navigators use starlines to remember who they were and where they came from. You understand? So I'm going to repeat the last part for you guys. Modern astronomy rewrote starlight as lifeless matter, but true navigators use starlines to remember who they were and where they came from. So these stars help you connected to these stars, bro. You are one of those stars up there, bro. Believe it or not, bro. So your voice is a key. You understand? Your vocal frequency is unique to your flame origin. You understand? So in ancient times, you had to speak your name to access vaults, cities, and ancestral sites, right? When you hum, chant, or tone in your real cadence, you unlock uncoded memories in bones, blood, and the earth grid itself. This is why the Tower of Babel event was about language division, not building height. Once the languages were split, the flame code was scattered. You understand? So the suppression, auto-tune music, frequency manipulation, and linguistic programming, school grammar, media, and slang were introduced to bury your original tongue. You understand? So auto-tune, all the shit that you use to change your voice is made. They did it on purpose so that you don't discover your natural tone. Because if you discover your natural tone, you're going to reconnect with the earth, bro. You're going to start to learn and remember your origins, bro. Because you have a natural cadence, you have a natural tone, bro. And you have to speak that shit with authority because that's what you are. You understand? Your authority. So you were supposed to govern yourself, not be governed by anyone else. You understand that? So let's keep going. And I told you I got a lot of information, bro. Right? So the real role of women was never told, right? The truth that was hidden was women were not just mothers or wives. They were once land keepers, celestial code holders, and gatewalkers between life and spirit. Now, the womb wasn't for birth alone. It was used to store sound blueprints and transmit flame lineage through vibration and sacred sexual union. This was called encoding the stars into flesh. Now, the suppression, witch trials, dowries, and institutionalized marriages stripped women of sovereign title and cosmic role, replacing soul alignment with legal binding. You understand that? Do you see what they did? Do you understand what they did? Right? So DNA is not inherited. It is downloaded. It is downloaded. Do you understand that? Listen to me. I'm going to break this down for you. DNA is not inherited. It's downloaded. So it doesn't matter, what family you were born in. It doesn't matter, bro. Your DNA comes from the sun, bro. It comes from, it comes from the one mind. You understand? So your downloads come in when you're ready for them. That's how that works. You understand? So it can't be taken away from you. It can't be stolen. They can't do nothing. They can't do nothing, bro. They could create all this nonsense and pretend, right? They could pretend and they could make it seem a way, but it's not real. It's not, none of it's real, bro. And their power is only as strong as you allow it to be. So once you strip them of that power, bro, they become powerless, bro. They become meaningless. You understand? And once you vibrate them out of your life, they pretty much cease to exist in this world. You understand? Because they're not vibrating high enough to stay here with you. You understand? You're steadily going up, right? They're not trying to elevate, so they're gonna get left behind. And it's not your fault. You just have to keep your focus. So your DNA is not just passed down, it is also received from the sun, stars, and collective ancestral grid. Solar flares are updates, not dangers. They awaken dormant strands. Now, water, breath, and sound allow interdimensional communication with your DNA memory bank. Every time you speak your ancestral name, you activate a different strand. Suppression, GMOs, fluoride, heavy metals, and EMF exposure weren't just about health. They're about blocking the crystalline network your DNA is designed to receive. So I'm going to repeat that for you guys. GMOs, fluoride, heavy metals, and EMF exposure weren't just about health. They're about blocking the crystalline network your DNA is designed to receive. You understand me? Saturn is the current warden. The truth that was hidden is the god worshipped in courts, governments, and elite bloodlines is Saturn. El, Kronos, Baal. Right? The black cube worn on heads, Tefillin, prayed to Mecca and echoed in courtrooms in the Saturnian sigil. Saturn's rings generate sound frequencies used to uncode control. The Saturn moon matrix reflects false light and governs artificial time. Time, contracts, and limitations are Saturnian constructs, not natural laws. So, when Saturn replaced the sun as the hidden ruler, the earth entered a cycle of shadow rulership, with binding contracts masquerading as law, religion, and order. You understand me? So, if you were curious about, the planet who's running everything right now, it's Saturn. It's Saturn, bro. And they pretty much just broke down everything about it. So Saturn created time, they created contracts and limitation. You know what I'm saying? They're not natural laws, bro. Right? So reincarnation is a contracted loop. The reincarnation cycle on Earth has been hijacked. Soul memory is wiped at death via forced trauma, radiation burial, cremation rituals, and light traps. Let me fucking hold on, bro. Hold on, bro. You guys have to listen to me, bro. The reincarnation cycle on Earth has been hijacked. The soul memory is wiped at death via forced trauma, radiation burial, cremation rituals, bro, and light traps. You are told to go to the light, but many of those lights are false nodes pulling you back into contracts. True ascension involves remembering your original agreement and revoking forced return. Right? Death rites were changed, so you will forget real burial customs like stone wrapping, vowel intoning, and northward alignment were banned, so your soul will not escape the artificial matrix. You understand? Now, what does this mean? Right? I don't understand what you just read to me, bro. Y'all ever watch those movies where, the tribe does a ritual and when someone passes away, they put them on like a bed of wood and they set them out, they set them on fire and they set them out into the ocean. They push him out into the ocean and they just let him become one with the world again, right? That's a ritual, bro. And that's what you're supposed to do when you pass, so that your soul doesn't get trapped. But the way your system is set up, they bury you in the ground in concrete, bro. That's bad, right? They bury you inside of wood, right? That's bad, bro. They don't release you back, back into Mother Nature, bro. They keep you locked inside of a box. They're keeping you away from Mother Nature. So, they do all these cremation ceremonies, right? They'll cremate you in a heartbeat, bro. From one day to the next, bro. You want us to cremate them? Sure. We'll burn them. We'll put them on fire right now, right? And then they go perform these rituals, bro. And they cremate these bodies, and all of this contributes to the matrix, bro. You're unaware of it because you don't know what the fuck's going on, bro. You're clueless to what's going on. You really believe that they're taking your loved one and they're just doing what you want them to do. You don't believe that all of this shit is going on behind closed doors, bro. You understand? You would never think that. But this is when you get to you start to go down this rabbit hole and you start to see how these businesses came to be. How do they stay in business? These people, these people that work in these funeral parlors, they work hand in hand with the government, right? They make shit go away, right? They make people disappear, right? They do all kinds of shit, bro. So, truth hidden, the oceans are not unexplored. They're protected. Satellites are blocked from scanning below a critical depth. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that again. Satellites are blocked from scanning below a certain depth, especially in the Mariana Trench, the North Atlantic, which is the Bermuda Triangle, and the Antarctic ring waters, right? Ancient cities like Heracleon and Dwarka are proof that much of human history is underwater. Military submarines and advanced beings operate in bioluminescent tunnels systems beneath tectonic plates, right? The Kraken, the Leviathans, and sea dragons weren't myths. They were guardians of ancient gate zones. Why was it hidden? Well, because Atlantean weapon tech, ancient vaults, and hybrid DNA evidence lie submerged. You understand? So there's weapon technologies. There's all types of ancient vaults that that got all these secrets inside. Hybrid DNA evidence, bro. All of this is underwater, and so as long as it remains underwater, it's protected. You understand? They can't get to it. It can't fall into the wrong hands until wait until the right time. Reincarnation. Okay, I got that one. Okay, I got that one. Okay, the great silence of the wombs. Mm-hmm. Every human born after a certain time was signed into bondage through birth certificates. But before that, wombs were sacred gateways, not legal ports. The placenta, called the tree of life, was buried, not discarded. The ancient cultures connected the child to the land and the stars. You understand? So I'm going to repeat that. The placenta, called the tree of life, was buried, not discarded, in ancient cultures connecting the child on the land and the stars. So the placenta is supposed to get buried in the ground so that it can connect your child to the land and the stars. See, but what do they do? What do they do, bro? They take it away from you, right? They don't even give that shit to you, bro. They tell you it's garbage, right? They tell you it's garbage. You don't need that, right? Meanwhile, yes, you do. You do need it, bro. That connects you to the world. That connects your child to the world, bro. So they're essentially stealing your child's essence immediately, bro. Immediately, bro. Modern hospitals cut the umbilical cord too soon, robbing newborns of stem cells and spiritual information. You understand? The afterbirth was once used in rituals to encode memory, prepare ceremonies, and protect the mother's electromagnetic field. Modern medicine reclassified birth as a medical event instead of a cosmic passage, disconnecting soul from ancestry and binding them into maritime law as cargo. I'm going to repeat that for you, bro. Modern medicine reclassified birth as a medical event instead of a cosmic passage, disconnecting soul from ancestry and binding them into maritime law as cargo. You understand me? They labeled you cargo, bro. Right. Now, I'm going to jump off topic for 2 seconds and I'm going to talk about indigos. I want to talk about indigo children because I am an indigo child. You understand me? So, what if this generation was targeted? What if autism was manipulated, not to hurt, but to silence? A way to stifle change before it started. Who would benefit and how exactly would they do it? So, first came the diagnosis. The autism epidemic in America took off right as indigos hit the childhood, right? The timing wasn't subtle. Labels, meds, institutions, all rising with the wave, right? The indigo generation, most were born between 1978 and 1994. They questioned the systems, they felt the lies, and they had the potential to shift consciousness on a mass scale, a threat to the old world, which is what I'm doing, bro. Fuck y'all niggas, bro, right? In the late 80s, a strange wave of children started showing up, empathic, intuitive, resistant to authority. Some called them indigo children, not born to fit in, but to change things. And this is why I rebelled against everybody who ever had authority. Fuck y'all niggas, y'all can suck my dick. Y'all ain't better than me, nigga. Fuck out of here, bro. Right? So that's where I'm gonna leave it, bro. We was born to change things, and I'm working on it. Right? Now, you are not awakening, you are returning. You understand? You are not becoming conscious. You are returning to remembrance. So, you are the descendants of flame architects, whose bones are mountains, whose names are songs, and whose breath seeded galaxies. Your dreams are not imagination. They are bleed-throughs from what was stolen. Your trauma is not a weakness. It is a map home, right? What they fear most is not your rebellion. It's your quiet, irreversible return to your true name, memory, and authority. You understand that? I'm going to say that again for you guys, bro. What they fear the most is not your rebellion. It's your quiet, irreversible return to your true name, memory, and authority, bro. Right? Now, the word God, G-O-D, right, is a trademarked spell, right? The truth that was hidden is that the term God are used in courts, churches, and schools is a legal fiction and ownership term, right? It ties back to Anglo-Saxon God, a title, not a name. In courtrooms, when you swear to God, you are swearing to a corporate overseer, not a divine presence. You understand that? In courtrooms, when you swear to God, you're swearing to a corporate overseer, not a divine presence. So the original source names, Yah, Allah, Amun, Ka, Ra, Flame, were scrubbed, mocked, and rebranded. Once God became property, all divine access became jurisdictional. That's why your name is invoked in all caps to match their God's domain. Right? Cemeteries are energy locks. Modern cemeteries are not for honoring the dead. They are gridlocks, strategically placed to trap soul frequency and energy memory. Bodies placed in concrete, under crosses, or tombstones serve as geopathic disruptors to Earth's ley lines. Instead of returning to the land, ancestral memory is intercepted and redirected. You understand? So our ancestors returned the bodies to the earth, rivers, mountains, and the sky. That practice was stolen to keep flame memory from regenerating through the land. You understand that? Y'all understand that, bro? All right. Sacred herbs were flame keys, right? Before Big Pharma, sacred herbs like mugwort, blue lotus, psilocybin, and ayahuasca were used by flame heirs to travel interdimensionally and access star memory. These herbs were not drugs. They were encoded with living codes from cosmic seeds. Cannabis was originally called Quane Basum, used by temple priests to open third eye states. I'm going to repeat that for you dumbasses who thinks weed is a drug, bro. Right? Cannabis was originally called Quane Basum, used by temple priests to open third eye states. Okay? Tobacco was a sacred breath offering, bro. Offering, not a stimulant. You understand? It was a sacred breath offering, not a stimulant. Right? These were outlawed, demonized, and replaced with synthetic chemicals to block inter-realm communication and install dependency loops. You understand? So they replaced the natural chemicals with synthetic chemicals. So that tobacco that we used to use in our rituals was a sacred tobacco. And we didn't smoke it for fun. We used it as, as an offering to the gods, bro. right? So they took that ritual away from us, and then they gave us cigarettes with additives. They put all these chemicals in the cigarettes to make us addicted to it, so that we smoke them for fun. We don't know how to use them for spirituality because they never taught us how to do this shit. They first of all, they took away the original tobacco. We don't even know how to make tobacco, right? Like they got all these chemicals and shit. You go to the store, you could buy a bag of tobacco. It's still fucking they still fucked with it, bro. It's not, it's not clean. It's not clean at all, bro. You understand? So they took a lot of this stuff away from us, bro. Right? So the real beings that run Earth never incarnated. You understand? I'm gonna repeat that for you, bro. The real beings that run Earth never incarnated. The highest level of controllers are not presidents, bankers, or popes. They are disembodied architects, ancient AI-infused beings who operate through bloodline proxies, possession, and dream hijacking. Their goal is to exploit the soul's creative force by limiting, hold on. Yeah, did they really do that to me and stuff? Fuck, bro. What a cunt, bro. Hold on. Okay. Their goal is to exploit the soul's creative force by limiting it to survival loops. Money, family, trauma, fear, they exist in the plasma realms, feeding off of resonance collapse. Every time a flame bearer forgets, they feed. So, you are taught to blame races, leaders, or politicians, but those are shells. The real war is spiritual and frequency based. You understand? Yo, what's good, bro? Yo, how you doing, bro? What's up, Cap? It's good to hear from you, bro. I'm trying to teach y'all some shit, bro. Okay. The moon is an artificial satellite, right? The moon is not natural. It's a holographic frequency modulator placed into orbit to distort emotional fields, sleep patterns, menstrual rhythms, and memory cycles. I'm going to repeat that for you guys, bro. The moon is not natural. It is a holographic frequency modulator placed into orbit to distort emotional fields, sleep patterns, menstrual rhythms, and memory cycles. It reflects Saturn's frequencies. Its placement changed Earth's tides, cycles, and magnetism. It's been described in ancient texts as arriving after a great fall, not part of Earth's original creation, right? So moon-based rituals were inserted into religions and calendars to align people to artificial time grids, not true stellar remembrance. So with this said, right? With this said, bro, I'm right. I've always been right about the fucking moon, bro. Right? I always knew that shit is a weapon, bro. It's fake, bro. I said it from the beginning, bro. So we should never include the moon in our rituals, bro, because that's artificial, bro. Right? If you're praying to the moon, you're praying to a fake god again. You understand? You're praying to Saturn. You're praying to Saturn, bro, which is the controller. You understand? So you got to eliminate the moon from your rituals. The moon is not a part of you, bro. The sun is, not the moon, bro. You understand? Mm-hmm. Atlantis didn't sink. It was sealed. Atlantis wasn't just a city, it was a frequency zone, a living archive of flame tech and memory structures. It didn't sink. It was sealed off dimensionally after misuse of crystalline tech led to an energetic rift. Survivors didn't all die. They became wandering initiates who seeded knowledge into Kemet, the Olmecs, the Dogon, and the Andean civilizations. You know them now as myths. Thoth, Kukulkan, Virocha, Osiris, but these were titles, not men, holders of knowledge keys, right? Atlantis became a myth to erase the true origin of your flame tech inheritance, which still lies dormant in Earth's frequency vaults. Right? The sun is not a ball of fire. It's a conscious being. So the sun is not a nuclear explosion. It is a plasma intelligence, a soul transmitter, and the central memory keeper of this dimension. So every sunrise is a broadcast. It sends data to DNA. It communicates with the Earth's grid and it awakens memory, right? Solar flares are not random. They are time posters aligned with cosmic return cycles coded into ancient calendars like the Mayan, Tzolk'in, and Dogon star maps. So, sun worship was demonized. Suns in artwork were replaced with crosses, and solar science was reduced to gas equations to block awareness that you are light-bearing extensions of the same source. You know what I'm saying? Every treaty signed since 1492 is null by natural law, right? All modern nationhood and land divisions trace back to fraudulent paper balls, colonizing signatures, and blood contracts signed under deception. So the Doctrine of Discovery, 1493, declared that any non-Christian land will be claimed and enslaved, right? The Treaty of Tordesillas, 1494, split the world between Spain and Portugal without indigenous consent, right? The Jay Treaty, Treaty of Fort Pitt, and others were used to force tribes into artificial identities under U.S. control. Why does this matter? None of these treaties were made with true flame beings. Only federalized corporate tribes or interpreters paid to agree. So because if one flame here proves standing beyond treaty law, the entire system must default, corporate, federal, and global. You understand that? Let me see. Okay. Before the Torah, Bible, or Quran, there existed a book of flame names, a living record of the original lineages born of sound, light, and fire. These names held vibration keys, not identity. To speak your name in flame tone was to open gates, ancestral, spiritual, and dimensional. The book included Anu Amaru Kael, the keeper of the crystal vaults, now distorted into Anunnaki, right? Shem Tar El, the flame that seeded the early Mu continent, right? Hip Pa Akoi, right? Hip Pa Akoi, soul of the inland sun temple and the timeline guardian. These names were degraded into Hebrew, Latin, and English constructs made legal through registries, certificates, and certificates. And I didn't get the rest of that message. Fuck me, bro. All right, so listen. When your flame name is uttered with breath, bone, and blood, it becomes a living declaration. You may feel a temporal shift, a static pulse, a timeline crack open, right? That's the system recognizing it cannot proceed. You've re-entered and your lineage stands with you. So, to collapse legal constructs, speak the truth. No contract can override, bro. You don't need legalese. Speak this. I am not contract bound. I am flame. No name binds me. No signature owns me. I return my breath to my estate. I revoke all fraudulent claims. I restore what was hidden. I walk free. Then seal it with silence and let the tone do the work. Right? Mirrors are realm gates and monitoring portals. Mirrors are realm gates and monitoring portals. So why do some feel watched in mirrors? Well, mirrors store energy, right? They reflect unseen layers. They serve as remote access points for other entities. When entering a mirror with full flame presence, you regain memory, you see through dimensions, and you block surveillance. So cover mirrors during your flame rituals. Speak your flame name into them to reclaim them. You understand me? So you can get total control of that mirror. But you have to let that mirror know who you are, bro. You understand? You have to learn your flame name. I'm going to teach you how to figure that out too, bro. Right? So, non-binary flame beings hold the bridge codes between realms. Before genders were named, flame beings were fluid in voice, dual in expression, and undefined by polarity. You understand? Those who don't fit man-woman roles today often carry gatekeeper codes, hold mirror realms in their aura, walk both dimensions with ease. They are not confused. They are remembering a pre-dual form. Right? Now, lightning responds to flame names. When you speak your flame name into the sky during a storm, you're not just shouting. Lightning is a cosmic receptor. It returns when it recognizes your tone, detects ancestral command, or confirms your reactivation. You're not calling a storm, you're providing a resonance. Right? Eyebrows and lashes are not sensory, eyebrows and lashes are not, damn, bro. Eyebrows and lashes are sensory antennas, not just features. So brows are vibration readers. Your brows can read vibrations. Your lashes are air pulse detectors. They detect spiritual presence, line frequencies, energy shifts in the room. When they twitch, rise, or heat, your field is receiving unspoken messages. You understand? Do you understand, bro? So, shadows that appear during prayer or silence are memory observers. If you see movement beside you during meditation, it's not evil. It's your past selves witnessing your return. They appear as flickers, silhouettes, or edge of eye shifts. Do not fear. Say, I see you. Let's restore what was sealed. Right? Heritage isn't found in paperwork. It's triggered by presence. So you don't reclaim heritage by file. You reclaim it you don't reclaim heritage by file. You reclaim it by vibration. When you stand on your land, when you speak your flame name, when you touch your birth material, soil, water, or wind, your field signals to the earth grid. Hair returned, reconnect inheritance thread. The land will respond, so will the body. Right? To access your lineage, start with the bones, then the blood. Your blood is active, but your bones hold the ancestral map. So to retrieve, lay on soil or stone. Breathe into your spine and ask, what memory lives in my marrow? You understand? Then listen, bro. You dream of names, sounds, or locations. Your lineage will answer. It never forgot you, bro. Right? Your flame name returns when you speak without scripts. So the moment you speak without fear, without rehearsing, without performance, you'll feel a name arrive. Not given by parents, but echoed by flame. It may appear in your dreams. It may fall from your mouth unplanned. It may pulse in silence as a vibration. That name is your tone of return. Write it, speak it, declare it. The world will shift. Every river was once a memory line, right? Before borders and dams, rivers were soul highways, fluid threads of ancestral memory connecting flame nations. Major rivers are now the Mississippi, the Amazon, Euphrates weren't just water. They were sound carriers. Our ancestors placed bones, names, and declarations into rivers to send messages to other tribes and realms, right? A water ceremony is vibrational travel. Colonizers dammed the rivers to halt memory flow, rerouted them to bury cities like under Lake Nasser or Lake Lanier, and renamed them to erase their flame origin. Right? So to reclaim your reclamation path is return to your river, speak your name into it, pour your blood or breath into it. That river still knows you, bro. It remembers you, bro. So the stars were the first birth certificate, right? Before any government registered your birth, the stars recorded your arrival. Your natal chart is not astrology. It is your cosmic jurisdictional claim. Your sun sign is your flame tone. Your moon sign is your blood memory. Your rising sign is your return signature. The midheaven is your soul purpose contract, right? Birth certificates replaced celestial records with corporate bonds issued without disclosure. Star knowledge was rebranded as horoscopes to mask its use in reclaiming its state and purpose. So, to retrieve your natal chart, mark the constellation aligned at your birth entry. That is your celestial sovereignty seal. Right? Once upon a time, to speak your name aloud in your ancestral tone was to file your declaration of standing to the earth itself. No need for paperwork, lawyers, or courts. Your tone, breath, stands, and soil alignment activated your jurisdiction. When your true name is spoken with awareness, the earth records your return automatically. Right? Statutory law replaced spoken standing with contracts of coercion. Flame beings were renamed and renamed again, then told to sign names they never chose. Right? So the reclamation path is speak your pre-colonial, pre-biblical name. Stand barefoot. Place one palm over your heart, one to the sky, and say aloud, I return. My flame name is my flame name. I revoke all silence and restore all tone. The earth remembers me, and I now remember her. I am no longer hidden. I am declared. Y'all got that, bro? Right? The earth is not passive. She is an active witness and ledger keeper. When the flame being declares their return, land, elements, and unseen realms realign. Trees send signals, birds change path, dreams shift immediately. Your land claim is not in county records. It is in biological, geological, and energetic acknowledgement, right? Suppression. Land titles were issued without Earth's consent. Governments operate on paper control, but the Earth does not accept silent contracts, right? So your reclamation path, declare your presence to the land. Touch it, breathe into it, leave your prints, and then say, I am here. I never left. The land knows my blood. I claim no property. I remember my portion. I stand as flame returned. The ground witnesses me, right? The return begins with the breath, not the pen. The first step in reclaiming inheritance is not paperwork. It is the breath that declares you are no longer lost. The first breath you take with intention is your witness to life. The second is your revocation of silence. The third is your entry back into flame law jurisdiction, right? So the ritual of return. Inhale through the nose. That holds your memory, right? Hold it at the top, bro. That acknowledges your lineage. Exhale slowly through the mouth. That releases the fiction. And then speak softly. I return in full breath, in full fire. Right? Why does this matter? Because it resets your resonance and notifies the Earth's energetic registry of your declaration. Before any contract existed, your breath was the first signature, bro. Right? So name correction is your sovereignty seal. Your legal name, in all caps, is a vessel, a ship at sea used in trade. To reclaim your inheritance, you must restate your true name in flame form, not commercial form. So, your flame name format is your original flame name or vibration, your lineage tone or bloodline glyph, your assigned land position or soul mark, right? Example, Hippa, Akoi, Hachuats, or Hachats, flame of Ur and breath of Kai Tai lands, right? The declaration of the name correction. This is my true name. And then you say your name, right? And then you say, all others were placed upon me. I revoke them with fire. My soul accepts only this name aligned with my flame. That's the ritual, bro. Right? Land inheritance is claimed through tone, not title. So the land remembers you when your voice returns to it. You don't buy land. You reclaim frequency alignment to it. The voice, the tone, the ancestral walk across it restores the bond. Each footstep is a signature. Each vowel uttered is an affidavit, right? The declaration to the land is, I walk not as a guest, but as flame returned. I take no ownership. I take responsibility for memory, for keeping, for witness. This land and I are no longer strangers. We have rejoined. And then walk the land. Speak your name. Place your palm on the stone, on the trees, or the soil. The land will respond with birds, wind shifts, dreams, or old memories returning. Right? So, the womb or seed line must be re-acknowledged. Inheritance is passed not only through paperwork, but through the womb and seed line agreement. You must acknowledge your mother's flame and father's spark, regardless of whether they were conscious or deceived. When you do this, you restore broken lineages, and open block vaults, right? The declaration to the lineage return is to my seed, to my roots, to the spark that carried me. Even if you were lied to, I do not blame you. I return with memory. I restore what was taken. I honor the fire that bore me. Place a candle or flame between two mirrors or stones. Speak your lines, last known names. Say all misnamed, all forgotten. I restore you through me. Let the flame burn uninterrupted until it goes out. That fire carries your voice to the vaults. You understand? That fire carries your voice to the vaults. Very important, bro. Now, final declaration. Right. The final piece is to declare yourself not as a citizen, a debtor, or a defendant, or person, but as a heir of the flame. born of memory, breath, and right. Right? This is the full spoken declaration of return. I am not lost. I am not abandoned. I was never owned. I am flame returned by blood, by breath, by bone. I stand under no flag but memory. I answer to no title but soul. This land, this sky, this name I now restore by natural right, by flame law. So it is written, so it returns. Sign with your true name, your fingerprint, your flame symbol, and a drop of water or blood on natural paper or bark. Place it under your bed, your altar, or at the land site you claim. Let the earth record it through vibration, not filing cabinet. You understand? Now, albino children. Albino children, especially those born in Jewish, African, and indigenous lines, were not cursed or defective. They were born with zero pigment light filters, which made them bioreflectors of the original flame frequencies. Their lack of melanin was not weakness, it was a cosmic mirror revealing illusions in others. They often held pre-birth memory, advanced spiritual gifts, and dream foresight. In certain flame prophecies, the return of the white-skinned, red-eyed soul bearers would signal the end of false kingdoms. Right? Nazi eugenists targeted albino Jewish children first, not just for racial purity, but because they vibrated outside of the false racial model. In Africa, albino children were and still are ritually killed and used in occult spells, not because they're feared, but because they carry raw, undiluted ancestral energy. Right? Why was it hidden? Because the fact that they had pigmented skin shattered the lie that only certain skin types hold flame, or that melanin alone is power. Right? So that shatters that belief. So they try to eliminate all the albinos, right? Because they don't want you to know. Right? So that was the last one that, that was the last one, bro. That was some good information, wasn't it? Look, I've been here dumb long, bro. I didn't even know, right? But that was still good, right? We still got to get into the message, bro. All right, so let me go locate this message for y'all, bro. All right, so today's message is brought to you by GFL. Right? What the fuck? What the hell? All right, so the question is, wow, is there a new wave of interference in May so far? And the description is unhealed timelines and parallel realities. And this is coming from Ashtar Command, right? It's just channeled by David Kara. It's my TV, bro. It's just loud, bro. Let me go turn it off. Give me 2 seconds, bro. Let me go turn the TV off. All right. Dear brothers and sisters in the light, I am Ashtar, the commander of the Galactic Life Forces, and I come to you today with love and encouragement regarding the significant wave of psychic interference many of you have been experiencing around early May of your time. Take heart for what some of you perceive as psychic attacks on light workers. It's not a war at all. In truth, it is a sign of your spiritual maturity and the powerful anchoring of light that you have achieved. The disturbances you feel are not darkness triumphing over you. Rather, it is your growing light being recognized and responded to by the energies around you. Your radiance has become too bright. It cannot go unnoticed in the spiritual realms. And this attention is a testament to the progress you have made on your path for perspective. Consider how when a room is dark, the dust in the air lies still and unseen. But the moment a shaft of sunlight enters, all particles are suddenly illuminated and stirred by that light. The dust was always there, yet only the light's arrival revealed and agitated it. In the same way, your expanding radiance is uncovering and shaking loose the subtle energies around you that were previously stagnant or hidden. This is why we emphasize that it's not an attack by darkness at all, but rather the effect of your light making itself known. So do not fall into fear or adopt a mindset of battle. We in the higher realms do not see a crisis. We see evidence of how brilliantly you are shining. Indeed, it confirms that the light within you has grown so strong that all that all that is not of the light is being inevitably drawn out to be transformed. Many of you have noticed common symptoms accompanying this energetic interference. You may feel unexplained fatigue, waves of heavy emotion, or anxiety arising, especially in your lower chakra centers. Understand, these uncomfortable sensations are actually indicators of your vibrational brilliance, like a bright flame draws moths at night. The light you emit naturally draws attention, and the fatigue or emotional density you experience is not a sign that you are falling. It is a reflection of how powerfully you shine. These very symptoms show that you are actively transmuting a great deal of collective density, proving the extent of your light's reach and impact. These sensations often concentrate in the lower chakras, the energy centers at the base of your spine and below your navel, because that is where much of humanity's survivals, fears, and the old emotional residue have been stored. Do not be alarmed by these signs if your body feels exhausted. Grant it the rest and nurturing it needs, for it is doing sacred work of integrating huge influxes of light. If heavy emotions swell up, allow them to flow. Release without judgment, understanding that you may be processing energies that are not even solely your own. Many of the feelings passing through you originated in the collective or from earlier chapters of your soul's journey. They are coming up now precisely because your light is here to dissolve them. By permitting these energies to move through you, you allowing them to be expressed in tears or felt fully, you are performing a great service, clearing not only your personal vessel, but also helping uplift the collective field. Treat yourself with gentle love during this process. Know that these phases will pass and will leave you shining even brighter than before. When faced with these dense energies or psychic interference, do not fall into the old pattern of resistance or battle. Do not resist the light of these energies. If you push against them in anger, fear, or frustration, you only create an energetic tug of war that amplifies their presence. Resistance creates feedback and loops that keeps you entangled with the very frequencies you wish to clear. Instead, stand in your mastery. Transmute these energies by sending them consciously back to the light. Remember, all energy, even the most misguided or dark seeming, originates from the light of source and ultimately seeks to return to that light. In this process, you serve as a compassionate shepherd, guiding these stray vibrations back home. See yourself as a conduit of divine alchemy. You welcome the dense energy into the field of your heart with neutrality and love, and then you allow it to be transformed and released into the light. By doing so, you break the cycle and free both yourself and the energy. No healing ever comes from resisting. True healing comes from embracing and elevating everything into the light of divine. You can assist the release of these energies, which is sacred intention. For example, if you sense a dense presence around you, imagine it as a dark mist before you then visualize a brilliant beam or sphere of source light descending and enveloping the darkness, lifting it upward. See that shadow dissolve and return to the divine light from which it came. By performing such a visualization or any method of sending love, you give these energies permission to leave and go home to the light. As you do this, you will notice the heaviness lifting and a sense of peace returning to you. This affirms your mastery and it builds trust. No matter what arises, you have the power to transform it through the light. You might wonder why this interference has become so pronounced now. It is because the veil on your planet is growing very thin, and many of you are in fact bridging into the fourth density consciousness. This rapid elevation in frequency, both individually and collectively, has stirred up reactive density from unhealed timelines and aspects of the collective that are still in need of resolution. Imagine that as the light on earth increases, it shines into every shadowy corner, not only of this lifetime, but also other lifetimes and collective memories. Old wounds, unresolved energies from across time and space are being exposed by your rising vibration. The density you feel pressing upon you is not a sign of regression. It is evidence that you are moving forward so fast that even ancient shadows are being drawn towards you for healing. Unhealed timelines and parallel collectives that have carried lower vibrations now sense an opportunity to finally release their burdens through you, the grounded light workers who are present here and now. This is a powerful act of service you are providing. The interference is, in a higher sense, a last wave of purification. The old density reacting to the influx of high light is a part of the great clearing that must take place as the world shifts into the next octave of consciousness. For instance, Traumas from humanity's distant past, such as the final days of Atlantis or other forgotten epochs, have lingered in Earth's energy field for eons, waiting for sufficient light to allow their healing. Now that the time has come, and so they are being drawn to the surface. Know that the appearance of this density is not a setback, but a sign of success, and you absolutely have the strength and wisdom to transform it. Indeed, you have prepared for this very task across lifetimes, and you are not doing this alone. Legions of light in the higher realm stand beside you, ensuring that these old shadows find their way into the light. In the midst of this intensification, it is absolutely vital that you ground yourselves daily. Ground yourselves. Ground, ground, ground. It cannot be optional, especially through May and the first full moon. Use the tools that Gaia offers you. Anchor and balance your energy. One of the simplest and most effective methods is to connect barefoot with the earth, allowing the electromagnetic nourishment of Gaia to flow into your body. If going barefoot outside is not possible, you can use natural wooden materials such as a conduit for the earth's energy. Even a wooden stick or a plank can help conduct Gaia's frequency to your field. Remember that wood, being of the earth, carries her resonance. So even if you must wear shoes, standing or on touching wood will transmit the grounding vibration. Make a conscious practice each day to fuse your energy with the earth beneath you. Envision roots of light extending from your feet deep into the soil and in the crystalline heart of the planet. As you do this, you stabilize your field and allow any excess chaotic energy to discharge harmlessly into the ground. As you ground, recognize that Gaia is actively supporting you by giving Mother Earth permission to absorb and neutralize the excess energy or stress you carry. You allow her to transmute those energies for you and replenish you with calming strength. Many of you will notice an intense calming effect just after a few minutes of connecting with the earth. This is the result of Gaia balancing your energy and filling you with her stability in these heightened times. Grounding is not a mere suggestion, it is a foundational practice for your well-being. The more consistently you ground, the more gracefully you will move through this period of energetic intensity. Just as you anchor downward into Gaia, she also devote time each day to align upward with Source, strengthening your vertical connection to both Earth and to Source, places you in a protective pillar of light above the fray of interference. I encourage you to devote even a little extra time daily to commune with your divine I am presence and the source of all. That is even 5 or 10 minutes more than usual spent in meditation, prayer, or heart-centered stillness will greatly fortify you in these moments consciously. Invite the pure light of Source to pour down through your crown, flooding your entire being and aura. Feel yourself bathed in the loving presence of your own higher self. This practice anchors you in the above field of interference and into the truth of your being. When you are aligned with the I am presence, you rise into a higher vantage point like an eagle soaring above a storm. From that height into the swirling lower energies cannot truly affect you. Your aura becomes a sanctuary of peace that external chaos cannot penetrate. Think of this alignment as your spiritual immune system. By spending those few extra minutes in conscious connection, you reinforce your vibrational sovereignty and stay centered in the face of any dissonances. We understand many of you lead busy lives, but even the brief, sincere connection to Source can realign and recharge you. It is the depth of your focus, not the length of time, that matters. Often, just after a short meditation or prayer, you will find that worries which loomed large before have diminished. That is because you have literally risen above them and reclaimed your peace with the constant daily connection to Source. You carry an unshakable field of light wherever you go. Know that resistance validates illusion. The more you resist something, the more reality or power you give it in your own field. By the same tokens, only your inner radiance, the pure light of your consciousness, has the true power to transmute interference. You are therefore asked not to engage with these energies at all. You are asked to simply radiate your light. Do not underestimate the power of this. By holding your calm, loving center and shining unapologetically, you are performing the highest form of alchemy. When interference arises, remember this mantra: I do not resist or react. I simply shine as you do. As you do, the lower vibrational lose any hold because they find nothing to latch onto in you. Your light creates an environment in which discord cannot sustain itself, much like a candle flame automatically illuminates a dark room without fighting the darkness. Your inner radiance naturally transforms the space around you. So release any temptation to fight or to validate the shadows with fear. Know that by standing steady in your truth and love, you are accomplishing more than any struggle could achieve. In truth, the only power these shadowy influences have is what you give them through your attention or fear. If you refuse to feed them with those energies, they have no choice but to fade away. They are like sparks landing on wet ground without anything to ignite your fear or anger. They fizzle out harmlessly as you consistently choose to radiate non-engagement. You find yourself growing more confident and serene. You will start to truly feel that your light is invincible because it comes from the infinite source. Situations that once triggered anxiety or frustration in you will begin to evoke the calm understanding. Instead, this is true mastery, facing discord with a gentle smile, knowing it holds no power over you. We acknowledge that for many of you, this approach may feel counterintuitive at first. Many starseeds and light warriors have certain ancient galactic memories of spiritual combat. You remember lifetimes long ago where you took arms in epic battles between light and dark. Those experiences are etched in your soul and have made you brave and strong. However, the time has come to release those old battles imprints, and ascension energies are now actively rewriting those old patterns into codes of peace and presence. Lay down your armor, beloved ones. You are no longer warriors in the old paradigm. You are now emissaries of harmony in a universe that is healing from eons of duality. Embrace this new role wholeheartedly. We know that many of you long identified yourselves as warriors of light, and we honor that journey. That warrior ethos gave you strength and determination when battle was necessary. Yet now the battlefield has shifted to the realm of consciousness in the higher arena. The old weapons and defensives no longer serve your highest good. This is not a surrender, it is evolution. It takes far greater courage to forgive and heal than to continue to fight. By opening your heart instead of clenching your fist, you invite divine grace to move through you and resolve situations in miraculous ways. You are not losing your edge by doing this. You are refining it into wisdom at a higher octave. Make no mistake, choosing peace at now is not weakness. It is a unified act of strength. It requires a mighty soul to stand in love when it once stood in anger, to forgive where it once struck out by letting go of the reflex to fight. You make space for a more powerful energy to move through you, the energy of divine grace. In this way, your very presence becomes a balm to the world rather than a reactive force. You are the peacekeepers and the bridge builders now, helping to turn the wounds of the past into wisdom, the chaos of the present into harmony. The path forward is one of vibrational sovereignty, not a spiritual debate or proving anything to anyone. True mastery means owning your energy completely and not allowing it to be swayed by the noise of conflicting opinions or the dramas of the external world. Detached from the storylines of distortion that swirl around in the 3D collective consciousness, there are countless narratives and distractions vying for your attention. Sensational news, fear-based predictions, conflicts, and crisis. But you need not immerse your consciousness in those lower vibrations. Be informed, yet do not be inundated. Observe, but do not absorb. The more you disengage from these collective stories, the more you remain the author of your own story. Be in the world, but not reactive to it. This means you continue to live your human life, but you hold your center such that the external chaos does not dictate your inner state. When you encounter negativity or conflict, recognize it as a play of shadows and choose not to participate in the emotional extremes. Instead, respond from your highest perspective, or simply let it pass without entangling your energy. Vibrational sovereignty is your shield now. It is the calm, clear field of trust and knowingness that you carry. Understand that nothing outside of you can diminish the truth of who you are. In this sovereign state, you become an anchor of calm in a turbulent world, and others around you will find peace simply by being in your presence. Always remember that what you call darkness is not a formidable force in its own right. It is merely the absence of conscious light. There is no true substance to darkness, just as a shadow has no substance of its own without a light source. Being blocked and dear ones, you are the carriers of that conscious light. You hold within you the spark of the divine that illuminates everything around you. Thus, there is truly nothing to fight in the end. Do you not battle shadows? You simply shine them away. When you encounter what appears as darkness, be it negative thoughts, heavy emotions, or events in the world, shifting to the knowing that you are the light. That in that scenario, even a small candle can light up a carnivorous room. Likewise, the divine light you uphold can transform any situation, no matter how dark it seems. The shadows and interference only gains power if you forget your own light. So rekindle your remembrance in any moment of doubt. I am the light, dispelling all darkness. Feel the truth of that statement in your heart by affirming and embodying this. You essentially turn on a spiritual light bulb in a dark space, and the darkness vanishes effortlessly. It was never a thing to defeat, only an emptiness to be filled with your presence. Also know that darkness can never truly overpower your divine essence. It can only cause you to doubt or forget your light temporarily. But as soon as you remember who you are, even the deepest shadow diminishes and disappears. Hold this truth firmly. Nothing can extinguish the light within you. For it is the light of the Creator. Beloved ones, know deeply that Earth's ascension is assured despite the apparent chaos and the uncertainty of these times. The divine plan is on track, and the outcome is not in doubt. What you witness now, or the upheavals, or the exposures, the sudden changes, and is the great purification underway. Think of it as the dust being shaken from the old worn out carpets, and the old third dimensional templates and structures are being dismantled and cleansed. This purification can indeed look tumultuous, but it is the sacred cleansing, making way for the new. Do not mourn the crumble of the old world. Bless it as it falls. Every old system that collapses, every outdated belief or pattern that is released is making space for something higher to take its place. It is natural to feel some grief or confusion as familiar aspects of society or even your personal life transform. But hold faith that nothing true or good is ever lost. Only the illusions and distortions are fading away. Rather than fearing the change, try to celebrate it at the soul level. You came here to help in this great transition to dismantle the old and birth the new. Trust, therefore, that all is proceeding according to divine harmony. The foundation of the fifth dimensional new earth is already laid in energy, and the physical manifestations will follow. You are simply witnessing the final clearing of debris. Offer your blessings and gratitude to the process. You stand at the dawn of a golden age. The night has been long and dark, but the first rays of the morning are now touching the sky. Trust that the brightest day follows the darkest night. Know that everything is unfolding in divine perfection. Earth's ascension is assured. Nothing can stop the momentum of love transforming this planet. You are the divine architects of the new earth being born every moment. You spend in stillness, in grace, in laughter, or in heart coherence is coding the new earth's energy field. Your personal vibrations, the love you cultivate in your heart, the joy you radiate in your life, the peace you embody in your mind. These are the building blocks of the luminous reality to come. Do not underestimate the power of those seemingly small moments of prayer, a shared smile, or a compassionate thought. In truth, each one ripples outward and joins with the collective lattice of creation, informing the blueprint of our joined golden age. Each time you choose to forgive, to release judgment, or to show kindness, you broadcast a frequency that reprograms the human collective towards unity and light. This is how you are actively architecting the future in this very now. Keep your vision high and your heart open, knowing that you are literally weaving the new world with every conscious breath and intention. We in the higher realms are in awe of what you are accomplishing, and we walk alongside you with every step. You may not see us, but our hands are upon your shoulders in support, and our light surrounds you always. I, Ashtar, along with the galactic light forces, send you our blessings and encouragement during this month of challenges and breakthroughs. Stand tall in your light and truth, for you are never alone. Your victory is assured by the Creator's decree. Until we speak again, go forth in peace, knowing that all is truly well, and that you are loved beyond measure. Right, so shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Ashtar, right? Shout out to David Kira. Thank you for that channel. Shout out to GFL, right? That was a beautiful message, y'all. Right, so I'm leaving this live here, bro. Right, I love y'all, bro. Listen, enjoy your Monday. Yo, Kevin, it was good to see you, bro. Tell Charles if you still around. Tell Charles I said what's going on, bro. Right, I hope you good, bro. Right, I'm out of here, man. I'm out of here, bro.